Today, I want to talk about something we often struggle with: knowing when to walk away. In a world filled with noise, conflict, and endless expectations, protecting our peace is not just important, it's necessary. Life is full of relationships, experiences, and commitments, but not all of them are meant to last forever. Some people and situations bring joy while others drain us emotionally and mentally. Recognizing toxicity is the first step toward protecting our peace and living a fulfilled life. However, identifying what is toxic isn't always easy. We often get so used to certain environments, behaviors, and relationships that we don't realize how much harm they are causing us. It takes deep self-awareness, courage, and honesty to acknowledge when something is no longer serving us. Toxicity can come in many forms: people, places, work environments, habits, or even our own thoughts. Sometimes it's an unhealthy relationship with a friend, partner, or family member who constantly criticizes, manipulates, or disrespects us. Other times, it's a job that leaves us stressed, undervalued, and emotionally exhausted. It can also be a toxic mindset, negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, or holding on to past mistakes that prevent us from moving forward. Whatever form it takes, toxicity slowly eats away at our happiness, self-worth, and peace of mind. One of the biggest challenges in recognizing toxicity is the emotional attachment we have to people and situations. We might justify unhealthy behavior because of history, love, or obligation. We tell ourselves that things will get better, that people will change, or that walking away would be selfish. But the truth is, staying in a toxic situation only prolongs our suffering. When someone constantly brings negativity into our lives, when a job makes us feel undervalued and exhausted, or when our own thoughts keep us stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, it's time to take a step back and evaluate whether we truly need to hold on. Our intuition often warns us before our mind fully accepts it. We feel drained after interacting with certain people. We experience stress and anxiety before going to work. We lose motivation and excitement for things that once made us happy. These are all red flags, subtle but powerful signs that something in our lives is out of balance. Ignoring these feelings can lead to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and even physical health problems. Recognizing toxicity also requires us to look inward. Sometimes we play a role in the toxic cycle by allowing certain behaviors, avoiding confrontation, or making excuses for people. Setting boundaries is a crucial part of this process. When we establish clear limits on how we want to be treated and what we will no longer tolerate, we begin to regain control over our own lives. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about protecting our mental and emotional well-being. If someone constantly crosses our boundaries and refuses to respect them, it may be a sign that we need to distance ourselves. Letting go of toxic situations does not mean we have failed. It means we have chosen to put ourselves first. It is not selfish to prioritize our well-being. It is necessary. We cannot pour from an empty cup, and if we continue to allow toxic influences in our lives, we will never have the peace and happiness we deserve. Recognizing toxicity is the foundation of self-respect. It is about knowing our worth and refusing to settle for less than we deserve. It is about choosing growth over comfort and peace over chaos. The moment we identify and acknowledge what is holding us back, we empower ourselves to make better choices. And once we start making decisions that align with our well-being, we create a life that is healthier, happier, and more fulfilling. Walking away from something or someone that no longer serves you is often misunderstood as weakness. Society sometimes conditions us to believe that persistence is always the key to success, that endurance in relationships, jobs, and situations is a virtue, and that leaving is equivalent to giving up. However, the reality is far different. Walking away is not an act of weakness. It is an act of strength. It takes incredible courage to recognize when something is not working, to make the difficult decision to leave, and to step into the unknown in pursuit of peace and well-being. The idea that staying is always the right choice can be damaging. We are taught to be loyal, to work through problems, and to avoid being labeled as quitters. While perseverance is valuable, it is not meant to be applied to every situation. Staying in a place that causes more harm than good is not a sign of strength. It is a sign of fear, often fear of change, fear of judgment, or fear of uncertainty. True strength lies in the ability to assess a situation honestly and make a decision that prioritizes personal well-being. Walking away requires self-awareness. It demands that we acknowledge when something is no longer beneficial, when it is draining our energy instead of uplifting us. Whether it is a toxic relationship, an unfulfilling job, a stressful environment, or even a harmful habit, recognizing when to walk away is the first step toward reclaiming our peace. It is easy to convince ourselves to endure, to hope for change, or to believe that things will improve over time. However, there comes a point when staying becomes more harmful than leaving. Understanding this turning point is crucial. One of the biggest obstacles to walking away is the emotional attachment we form with people and situations. Letting go is difficult, especially when we have invested time, effort, and love into something. But holding on to something that causes pain, stress, or unhappiness is not a sign of commitment. It is a sign of self-neglect. Strength means prioritizing inner peace over external expectations. It means choosing happiness over habit and self-respect over convenience. Another major challenge is the fear of the unknown. Walking away means stepping into uncertainty, leaving behind familiarity and facing a future that may seem unclear. Many people stay in toxic situations simply because they are afraid of what comes next. But growth happens outside of comfort zones. Choosing to walk away opens doors to new opportunities, healthier relationships, and a life that is aligned with peace and purpose. It may not be easy at first, but it is always worth it. Walking away also teaches resilience. It is a decision that requires faith in oneself, belief in a better future, and the ability to move forward despite challenges. Strength is not about enduring endless suffering. It is about knowing when to move on. It is about trusting that there is something better ahead, something that will bring joy, fulfillment, and peace. Sometimes walking away is an act of love, love for oneself. It is a declaration that you deserve better, that your well-being matters, and that you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. It is a powerful reminder that choosing peace is not selfish, it is necessary. The moment you decide to walk away from negativity, you reclaim control over your life. You begin to create a space for joy, for growth, and for meaningful experiences. In the end, true strength is not measured by how much you can endure, but by how much you are willing to change for the better. It is about having the courage to say, "This is not for me," and taking the steps necessary to protect your peace. Walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom, it is bravery, and it is the ultimate act of self-respect. Prioritizing mental and emotional health is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves, yet it is often overlooked in a world that values productivity, endurance, and external success. Society frequently teaches us to push through stress, suppress emotions, and keep going even when we feel exhausted. But the truth is, ignoring our mental and emotional well-being leads to burnout, unhappiness, and even physical health issues. Choosing to protect our peace is not a luxury, it is a necessity. When we prioritize our mental and emotional health, we create a life that is balanced, fulfilling, and truly meaningful. One of the first steps to prioritizing mental health is acknowledging its importance. Many people focus heavily on physical health, making sure to eat well and exercise, but they neglect their emotional well-being. Just like the body, the mind needs care, rest, and nourishment. Stress, anxiety, and negative emotions do not just disappear if they are ignored. Instead, they build up over time and can manifest in unhealthy ways, such as chronic fatigue, irritability, or even serious mental health conditions like depression. Recognizing that mental and emotional health deserve attention is the foundation for a healthier and more peaceful life. Setting boundaries is a crucial part of protecting our mental well-being. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Work responsibilities, family obligations, social expectations, and personal goals all compete for our time and energy. Without boundaries, we become overwhelmed and emotionally drained. Learning to say no when necessary is a powerful act of self-care. It does not mean that we do not care about others. It means that we understand our own limits and choose not to overextend ourselves. Whether it is limiting time spent with negative people, reducing workload, or setting aside personal time for rest, boundaries help us maintain our mental and emotional balance. Another important aspect of prioritizing emotional health is self-awareness. It is essential to check in with ourselves regularly, to recognize when we are feeling stressed, anxious, or emotionally drained. Ignoring emotions does not make them go away. In fact, unprocessed emotions can become even more overwhelming. Taking time to reflect, express feelings, and seek support when needed is a vital part of maintaining emotional well-being. Journaling, meditation, therapy, or simply talking to a trusted friend can all help in processing emotions in a healthy way. Letting go of toxic influences is also necessary for protecting mental and emotional health. Negative relationships, stressful environments, and unhealthy habits can slowly drain our energy and lower our quality of life. Sometimes we hold on to toxic situations because of fear of change, fear of loneliness, or fear of judgment. But keeping negativity in our lives only harms us in the long run. Removing toxic influences does not mean we hold resentment. It means we value ourselves enough to choose peace over chaos. Walking away from what no longer serves us is a form of self-respect and self-care. Taking care of mental and emotional health also means making time for joy. Life is not just about obligations and responsibilities. It is also about finding happiness, doing things we love, and surrounding ourselves with positivity. Engaging in activities that bring joy, whether it is spending time in nature, listening to music, pursuing hobbies, or simply taking a moment to relax, helps restore emotional balance. Laughter, love, and meaningful experiences contribute to mental well-being just as much as rest and self-care. Ultimately, prioritizing mental and emotional health allows us to live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. It enables us to build stronger relationships, make better decisions, and approach challenges with clarity and resilience. When we take care of our minds and emotions, we become better versions of ourselves, not just for us, but for those around us as well. Protecting our peace is not selfish, it is an essential part of living a happy and meaningful life. Letting go of fear and guilt is one of the hardest yet most liberating things a person can do. These two emotions often keep us trapped in situations that no longer serve us, making it difficult to walk away and protect our peace. Fear tells us that change is too risky, that the unknown is too uncertain. Guilt tells us that leaving means we are abandoning our responsibilities or letting others down. Together, they create a powerful emotional barrier that prevents us from choosing what is best for our well-being. However, overcoming fear and guilt is essential to living a life that is truly fulfilling and free from unnecessary suffering. Fear is one of the most natural human emotions, designed to protect us from harm. But in many cases, fear is not protecting us, it is limiting us. The fear of the unknown, the fear of being alone, the fear of failure, or even the fear of success can keep us stuck in toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, and negative mindsets. We tell ourselves that staying where we are is safer than stepping into something new. But in reality, staying in a harmful situation out of fear does more damage than taking the risk to leave. Growth happens when we step outside our comfort zones. While the unknown can be intimidating, it is also full of new possibilities, better opportunities, and the peace we truly deserve. Guilt, on the other hand, is often tied to obligation. We feel guilty about leaving people behind, especially if we care about them. We feel responsible for their happiness, their well-being, or even their actions. In toxic relationships, guilt is often used as a tool for manipulation. People make us feel as though walking away means we are selfish, ungrateful, or heartless. But the truth is, We are not responsible for other people's happiness. We are responsible for our own well-being. Staying in an unhealthy situation out of guilt does not help anyone. It only prolongs the pain for both parties involved. Sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves and others is to walk away and allow growth to happen separately. One of the most effective ways to overcome fear and guilt is to shift our perspective. Instead of seeing walking away as abandonment or failure, we should see it as an act of self-love. Choosing to leave a situation that drains us is not an act of giving up, it is an act of taking control. It is choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and happiness over unnecessary suffering. When we let go of fear, we open ourselves up to new opportunities. When we let go of guilt, we free ourselves from carrying burdens that were never ours to bear. It is also important to remind ourselves that change is a natural part of life. Nothing is meant to stay the same forever. People grow, circumstances evolve, and priorities shift. What may have been right for us in the past may no longer be right for us now. Holding on to something out of fear or guilt only delays the inevitable. Accepting change as a necessary part of life allows us to make decisions with confidence and without regret. Letting go of fear and guilt does not mean we lack compassion or responsibility. It means we recognize our own worth. It means we understand that our peace and happiness matter just as much as anyone else's. It means we are strong enough to choose ourselves without apology. In the end, walking away is not about running from problems. It is about choosing a better path. It is about trusting that something greater is ahead and believing that we deserve it. When we release fear and guilt, we free ourselves to live authentically, to embrace happiness, and to protect the peace that we all deserve. Creating space for positivity is essential in leading a fulfilling and peaceful life. Often, we hold on to situations, relationships, and habits that no longer serve us, leaving little room for growth, joy, and new opportunities. Walking away from negativity does not mean we are rejecting life's challenges. It means we are making a conscious decision to prioritize what uplifts us. Just as a cluttered home can feel overwhelming, a life filled with negativity, stress, and toxic influences can block us from experiencing true happiness. The key to personal peace is learning to clear out the unnecessary and make space for the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and inner balance. One of the first steps in creating space for positivity is recognizing what is consuming our energy. This could be certain people who constantly bring negativity into our lives, a stressful job that no longer aligns with our values, or even our own negative thought patterns. These influences slowly drain our mental and emotional energy, leaving us feeling exhausted, unmotivated, and disconnected from our true selves. If we continue to allow negativity to take up space, there is little room left for the things that truly make us happy. Letting go of what no longer serves us is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-respect. The next step is intentionally inviting positivity into our lives. Positivity does not mean ignoring reality or avoiding difficult emotions. It means choosing to focus on what adds value to our lives rather than what drains us. This can be done by surrounding ourselves with supportive and uplifting people, engaging in activities that bring us joy, and cultivating a mindset that embraces gratitude and optimism. When we make a conscious effort to fill our lives with positive energy, we naturally attract more of it. One of the most powerful ways to create space for positivity is through self-care. Taking time for ourselves is not a luxury, it is a necessary. Whether it is setting aside moments for meditation, reading, exercising, or simply resting, self-care allows us to recharge and maintain emotional balance. When we neglect ourselves, we become more susceptible to negativity and stress. However, when we prioritize self-care, we strengthen our ability to handle life's challenges with a clear mind and a calm heart. Another important aspect of welcoming positivity is shifting our mindset. Often, negativity is not just about external influences, but also about how we perceive the world. If we constantly focus on what is wrong, what we lack, or what could go wrong, we create an environment of fear and doubt. On the other hand, if we train our minds to focus on gratitude, solutions, and possibilities, we create an atmosphere of growth and happiness. Changing the way we think is one of the most powerful ways to transform our lives. Letting go of toxic relationships is also crucial in making room for positivity. Not everyone is meant to be in our lives forever, and that is okay. If certain people constantly bring us down, disrespect our boundaries, or drain our energy, it may be time to step back. Surrounding ourselves with people who support, uplift, and genuinely care about us makes a significant difference in our overall happiness. Positive relationships create a safe and nurturing space where we can grow, heal, and thrive. Creating space for positivity also means being mindful of what we consume, both mentally and emotionally. The news we watch, the social media we engage with, and the conversations we participate in all influence our state of mind. If we constantly expose ourselves to negativity, we will absorb it. Being intentional about what we allow into our mental and emotional space can help us maintain a more peaceful and uplifting perspective on life. Ultimately, walking away from negativity and creating space for positivity is a choice. It is a commitment to valuing ourselves enough to seek peace, happiness, and fulfillment. By letting go of what no longer serves us and embracing what uplifts us, we allow ourselves to experience life in a more meaningful and joyful way. Protecting our peace is not just about avoiding negativity, it is about making room for all the good that life has to offer. Moving forward with confidence is the final and most empowering step in walking away and protecting your peace. Once you have let go of toxic situations, fear, and guilt, and have created space for positivity, the next step is to embrace the future with certainty and self-assurance. Walking away is not just about leaving something behind, it is about stepping into a better, healthier, and more fulfilling life. However, this transition can be challenging if you allow doubt to creep in. The key to truly protecting your peace is to trust yourself, believe in your decisions, and move forward with confidence. One of the biggest obstacles people face after walking away from something negative is second-guessing their choices. Doubt often comes from fear of the unknown or worry about whether they made the right decision. However, it is important to remind yourself why you walked away in the first place. If something was draining your energy, making you unhappy, or preventing your growth, then leaving was the best choice. Trusting yourself is crucial in ensuring that you do not fall back into old patterns that compromise your peace. Confidence in moving forward also comes from setting new goals and focusing on what lies ahead. Instead of dwelling on the past, shift your energy towards creating a future that aligns with your values and aspirations. What do you want to achieve? What kind of people do you want to surround yourself with? What brings you true joy and fulfillment? By setting clear intentions and working towards them, you not only keep yourself motivated, but also ensure that you do not get pulled back into negativity. Another important aspect of moving forward with confidence is practicing self-love. Remind yourself that you are worthy of peace, happiness, and success. Avoid seeking validation from others or feeling the need to explain your decisions. The journey of protecting your peace is deeply personal, and not everyone will understand it, and that is okay. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary for long-term well-being. Ultimately, confidence comes from knowing that you are in control of your own life. You have the power to choose what you accept, what you let go of, and what direction you move in. By embracing your decisions with courage and looking forward instead of backward, you allow yourself to fully step into a life filled with peace, positivity, and purpose.